The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Oh, I didn't know there was an actual dance.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're the She-Squatchers. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and I've got my trusty teammate, Jenna Grover, on the line. Hi, Jenna.
Hello.
Hi. We are sad that we're missing our Tammy tonight. Our teammate Tammy is down with COVID, but she's doing well. She's going to be back on her feet in no time, she says. So we're hopeful and we're glad for that. So yay, Tammy. You go, girl. But everybody's going to miss you tonight. And we have a special guest for you tonight. We've got Craig Woolheater from Texas. And Tammy wanted us to say, Craig, she's so sorry she had to miss the show tonight. She can't wait to meet you in person sometime soon. So she'll be watching later. Anyways, welcome to the show. Craig, are you there?
I am here.
Hi.
I just want to know, can I be he Squatch?
Well, I suppose you could be.
Or about Tex Squatch?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds
We've
great.
heard we've heard a lot of guys that say they want to be a he Squatch, but Tex Squatch, or Texas Squatch sounds much more interesting.
Yeah, I would go with Tex Squatch.
Tex Squatch.
Tex Squatch.
Nice. All right.
Well, good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Boy,
it was like Charlie.
This is the high point of my day, having two beautiful women on the phone at the same time.
Aw, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I've already heard that I have nice hair, and Jenna does too. So that's always good to know.
I had to ask for the compliment. He just gave it to Jen. I was going like this. And Jen was like, I think Jen is fishing for a compliment. I was like, I am.
I had already given the compliment, though. I saw that little sign, and I followed suit.
You did well.
Very good. Very good.
Get a brownie point.
Yes. Well, I know you've got some exciting news to share with us, Craig. You've got recently a move that you've undertaken and something big coming up. Will you tell our listeners about it? And first, can you just tell us a little bit about your background so they know exactly who we're talking to, and then tell us the exciting news?
Well, I've been interested in Bigfoot and I guess cryptozoology since I was a kid. I don't want to say how long, because then that tells how old I am. But there was a case here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area back in the late 60s of a creature that was called the Lake Worth Monster that was seen by quite a few people. The summer of 1969, that it was seen by hundreds of people actually out there at this lake that's not more than 20 minutes or so from downtown Fort Worth. And it was on the front page of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram newspaper on July 10th and July 11th of 1969. And we're talking, this is like 10 days before we landed on the moon. And the big deal on the newspaper there was about this creature that was seen out at the lake. The area where it is now is it's owned by the city of Fort Worth, and it's a nature park and refuge. But back then it was just like a lover's lane where the kids went and parked and drank and made out. It's a little more legitimate these days in the fact that it is a city-owned park and nature refuge. So that's what really got me started. Then I saw The Legend of Boggy Creek in the theaters a couple years later. And so that really, I was interested then, but it really wasn't until in 1994 when I actually had a sighting of what I can only speculate that was Bigfoot. I mean, it was something that was about 7 foot tall, covered in hair, and walking on two legs. So I don't know too many other things it could have been. It wasn't a horse or a cow or a burned out tree stump or a guy in a ghillie suit or somebody in a fur coat or anything like that. I mean, we saw it for 7 or 8 seconds while I was driving about 15 to 20 feet away from my vehicle.
Wow. Wow. And so you know what it's like to have a sighting and go, well, I think it was, but
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, that was the conversation in the car with my girlfriend at the time. We both, she was on the passenger side, so she was even closer. But as we passed it, we both turned to each other and looked at each other and said, "Did you just see what I saw?" And we agreed that we had. And I asked her what she saw, and she said, "I think I saw a Bigfoot." And I said, "Well, we need to stop." And she uttered a few other choice words and said, "No, we're not stopping." So we didn't
Oh,
stop.
oh. Did you want to stop really bad? I mean, were you just like,
Yeah, to this day, not a day goes by that I don't regret stopping. I mean, I just wanted a closer look. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know that I would have gotten out and approached it or anything, but, I wanted to see a closer look than just for the 7 or 8 seconds that we saw it as we passed it.
how exciting though? And you
yeah.
weren't ready at all to see this, right? You were just, it was like,
No,
boom.
we're coming back from a Memorial Day weekend trip to New Orleans, heading back to Dallas, and we had gone with 12 people and 5 different vehicles. And on the way back, on the way down there, we caravanned, and this is before GPS or Google Maps. So we just laid out a road map and plotted our course. And on the way back, it was at nighttime. And so it was quite a bit different. This 2-lane desolated road out in the middle of nowhere. Are we touching up makeup?
My lips feel dry.
Okay.
It's cold up
It,
here. They get chapped.
it's the excitement from my story, I'm sure,
Yes, yes, that's what it
has
is.
has dried you out. And so, like I said, that was what got me started on this path. I went to hang on.
So you
I went
probably
to
just
a
need
big.
some lip gloss for that cough.
I need some
Exact.
what?
And you know,
Lip gloss.
Maybe just a beverage.
There you go.
I need some.
Maybe I just need to wet my whistle.
There you go.
Oh, did Jenna apply some too?
Yes, yes,
And I
yes.
feel left out now.
Oh, but it feels so good.
Oh, I know.
Thanks. So now let's get off the subject of lip gloss because I could talk lip gloss all day, but it is about Bigfoot. So where did we leave off?
With my sighting in 1994.
All right, we'll continue where you were leaving off.
Well, in 1994, it was before I had access to the internet, which actually wasn't for 3 more years. So when I got on the internet, I started looking up Bigfoot in Texas and in this area, and found a community of people on message boards and forums. There wasn't much other information out there at that time in '97, and so I found a gentleman that we became friends, and we started the research organization, Texas Bigfoot Research Center, in '99, and then put up a website. Started taking online report submissions, and people wanting to get in touch with us to want to get involved with what we were doing, and so that's really how it started.
Wow, it sounds like it just went like bing, bang, boom. Like it just went from A, B to C. It just happened so fast. Is that right?
I was trying to think of the order of Bing Bang Boom and see if that was in the correct order, and I believe that it was.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I knew I was right.
And
I'm
and
kidding.
and then we attended, a Bigfoot conference in Ohio, and I looked around and said, I bet I could do this. There's not one of these in Texas. And so my parents had moved to Jefferson here and bought a bed and breakfast. And so I used my resources and started hosting it here. And now Jefferson, Texas is, as of February 12th, 2018, is the Bigfoot capital of Texas.
It is.
Yay!
And
Congratulations.
even more so because on January 1st, I moved here. I did
Oh,
live in the Dallas area, 3 hours away, but now I am in the heart of the Bigfoot capital of Texas.
That is
wow.
exciting news.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, things were changing, and I needed to decide where I wanted to move to. And I mean, it only made sense. My folks tried to, wanted me to move out here for, 20 years. And so when it was time to pick a new place, I've lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area my whole life. I mean, never outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. But when I got to thinking about it, hosting 3 Bigfoot events that are at the farthest an hour away from here, the Falk Monster Festival that I host in June in Falk, Arkansas, the Texas Bigfoot Conference in October here in Jefferson, and I just held the inaugural last month Bigfoot Film Festival in Marshall, Texas. And so when I thought about, where, made sense to live, I mean, this made perfect sense with the events I host and the opportunities I have here in town. Um, so I thought, I just thought, if not now, when? I mean, it only made sense. And for probably almost 20 years, I've been wanting to open up a Bigfoot museum here in town. And, being 3 hours away, that's pretty impossible. But now I have a space that I'm looking at that is about 2 minutes away, right around the corner from the block that I live in. So I hope to work on that this year, and hopefully by the end of the year, have made enough progress that it may be ready to open by that time.
Wow.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Congratulations. This is all moving forward so fast.
Well,
Yeah.
and you guys will hopefully get to see it, because we have a surprise announcement that we are working on an event called the She-Squatchers Do Texas.
Yay!
Oh, that sounds so bad.
Well, it'd sound worse if it was Dallas, but
Yeah.
but anyway, yes, we're working on. It's going to be a combination event that Jen and I have been talking about or texting about. I don't know if she's informed the other She-Squatchers, but we're looking at. Well, this whole town is haunted. Jefferson is, pretty much. Although I don't know if my apartment is yet or not, but it. Pretty much every bed and breakfast or the hotels here in town, they're all haunted. And so the thought was to do a. Uh-oh, there went Jen.
Oh no, I'm here. I'm here.
Jen,
I'm still here.
Jen,
I'm here.
Sorry about that. I'm doing something. I didn't want you to have to look at my body while I leaned up against the phone. Back.
Okay, she's back. But we're talking about what I'm looking at is hosting an event at the historic Jefferson Hotel, which is very, very haunted. It's still in the planning stages, so things could change, but the plan is to host an event there to block out all of the rooms for the hotel, which there's 20 rooms. It's not a large hotel, but it's a really cool old hotel. And they have a ballroom there to have a Bigfoot presentation there in the evening, perhaps even a catered dinner there for the people that come, and then to roll it into a haunted hotel ghost investigation for you guys to bring down all your equipment, and we would have the access to the whole hotel to go through the rooms. Room number 19 is probably the most haunted. It's
what is it known for?
Where a bride actually hung herself because she was stood up for her wedding. And it's very haunted.
What year was that? Do you know?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, you guys will be chatting with her, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I hope so. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. I mean, first of all, Texas, I mean, it is like in my heart. Texas is my heart. But I can't wait until all of these wonderful adventures that you're setting up for us. So thank you very much.
I think it's going to be a cool event. We're looking at September 10th is what we're looking at right now, where it will have cooled off a little bit. You won't be here in the July and August. As you know, knowing Texas, it is rather warm. And and here in Jefferson, it's rather humid here. We're right next to, we're up bayou that's like Blue Bayou, Linda Ronstadt, a slow moving river. From Caddo Lake, which is actually the only natural lake in the state of Texas. Every other lake here is a man-made reservoir. And there's a real history of Bigfoot sighting reports around the lake and in this area in general. And like I said, since we got the designation as Bigfoot capital of Texas, the Chamber of Commerce purchased a Bigfoot statue. So we've got, a large Bigfoot statue here in town. And like I said, and some of the other merchants are, carrying out quite a bit of Bigfoot stuff now since I brought Bigfoot to town. But so I'm looking forward to that event and having you guys here in town and getting to stay at the haunted hotel. So not only, if we do a nighttime investigation, say from 10 to 2, you guys will be there the rest of the night as well to leave your equipment out, leave your recorders out. So when you take a break from your pillow fight, you guys can do some investigation too.
What do you think happens in these rooms?
I've never stayed there myself, but I have had last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. One of my speakers stayed there. She came in a night early and left a night late. So she stayed there 4 nights. And she said that when she got to the hotel within 10 minutes, she was in the hotel, and the rooms are upstairs and downstairs, and they're down a long hallway. So she was standing at the front of the hallway to take a picture down the hallway. And just as she held her iPhone up to take a picture, she noticed somebody walking through the frame. So she immediately put her phone down, and there was nobody there. She, the hotel has a Facebook page. I think it's experiences at the Jefferson Hotel, but they have lots of video from. They've got one of the rooms is filled with nothing but like creepy dolls, and there's a doll in there that moves by itself that they have on camera. And there's other things that happen in this room. Going back to the room my speaker stayed at, she had come down to set up her table at the conference center, and then on Friday afternoon and went back to take a nap. And when she laid down to take a nap, she took a nap, sat up. When she sat up, the dresser had a hinged mirror on, and as she sat up, the mirror just tilted on its hinges by itself. Another thing that's
I'm
real
so excited.
cool is that she never watched TV the whole time she was there. And the TV on the TV stand, the remote was sitting on the TV stand, but every time she left the room or even to take a shower, the TV remote ended up on her nightstand.
Somebody wanted to
Like
watch
the ghost
TV.
wanted her to watch TV. So,
Wow.
like I said, we'll have access to all of these rooms to go through, and for you guys to, get your equipment out and show people how to use it and see if we get anything. So it's going to have to be limited to the, number of people that can go to, so everybody to walk through. There'll be more people allowed to come in for the Bigfoot presentation for you guys to talk about your Bigfoot investigations and such. But then we'll switch channels to the paranormal stuff. So that'll be good, because I know you guys are into both, and this hotel is really haunted. So I
That just
figured it'd
sounds
be
like a
cool
good
to do
time.
something like that.
It sounds like a really fun time.
It does.
And it's in Texas.
And it's in Texas.
You know,
baby.
Jenna grew up, her dad was a farmer, so they would leave Minnesota and go to Texas for the winter. So she's literally half Texan. So
Pretty much.
when I said, "Hey, we might be going to Texas," she just got all excited.
Yeah.
Did her ears perk up?
Yeah.
Oh, they perked. They perked.
Well, that is good.
Yes. I'm just so excited. You just seem to have such a wonderful, excuse me, time
Excuse me.
ready for us. I'm so excited. And to wait till you said September,
That's a long ways away.
that's a long ways
But
to
you
wait.
know what? You plan these events, it's really not that long, because it's there before you know it. And so what I decided to do, since I moved to Jefferson and I host my events here,
Mhm.
I host a car show event in March. I host, like I said, the Falcon Monster Festival that's about an hour away. So, we'll be able to take a side trip to Falk, because I'm sure you guys have never been to Falk, with the home of the Legend of Boggy Creek and the Falcon.
No, I've never been there.
So we'll go there.
I'm excited.
You are just building the expense or the excitement here. Keep going. What else?
And the Jefferson Conference is here in October, and then my new event, the Bigfoot Film Festival in Marshall, which is less than 20 minutes away from here. So my goal is now to host an event a month here in Jefferson. So, because I've always been trying to help the tourism here. It's a tourist town. It's a small town of only about 2,100 people. But, there's a lot of cool events here, and I hope to add to that number of cool events here. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as, other events that I'm working on to bring to town.
So are there a lot of hotels, or is there places for people to stay then when they come in September?
Yeah, well, it's also the bed and breakfast capital of Texas. So I forget how many, I think it's like 65 bed and breakfasts here in this small town. And
I love it.
there's one chain hotel that has a couple of jacuzzi suites. There's there's actually 3 historic hotels. The Excelsior Hotel, that actually Steven Spielberg stayed there, and I'm trying to remember the particulars. But he got scared from activity that happened there.
Really?
At the Excelsior Hotel, there's
Wonder
the historic Jefferson Hotel, and then there's the Con Hotel. Those are all right downtown, like almost catty corner to each other.
I know in a lot of places, old construction and historic places, they have tunnels underground that go from building to building. Does this place have that?
I don't have any idea. Although I know the new owners very well. They are actually they are actually in the paranormal realm. Jeremy Jones and his wife Pam, he is a a ghost investigator. He has a company called Paranologies where they build electronic technology to detect spirits and stuff. So when it came up for sale, they took them about a year to put everything together, but they purchased it about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, and they've done a lot of cool work with it. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be, of course, I'm crazy busy just trying to get my place together. We've talked about doing actually a Bigfoot themed room there at the hotel because there's a lot of theme rooms there.
How fun!
So that's where, like I said, you guys will be staying and investigating. So I don't know if you'll get any sleep Saturday night.
That's fine by me. If I can have one pot caffeine
later, right?
drink.
You can sleep later.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay. All I need is like one caffeine drink. It'll last me all day and I'll be up all night. I don't drink caffeine often. And when I do, I turn into like, oh, it's bad.
I bet bad. You're perked up even more then, huh?
Yeah, very, very much so. So this all sounds so exciting, doesn't it, Jen?
I'm caffeined up all the time. So it sounds great to me. It's great to me.
So
I'm excited.
Looking forward to having the She-Squatchers in Texas.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
Jenna's like, why can't we go right now?
I know.
You can. My guest room is almost ready.
Oh, really?
So yes, nice. I have a second bedroom here. So you guys are welcome to come down and get prepared.
Boy, wouldn't that be fun?
The secret code to get in.
What's the secret code?
Tell everybody.
I tell you, yeah.
Oh.
where everybody can hear it.
Oh, man.
I can't give everybody the secret code.
That's true. Sometimes I forget we're on the radio.
Yeah,
it's easy to do.
That's the best thing about the conferences and events like this. I have told people for years, well, as far as being involved with Bigfoot and research and stuff, that over 50% of it's the camaraderie among. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better really than being around like-minded people with a common interest. I mean, that's just about as good as it gets. And I use these events to bring my friends to town for the weekend to hang out. And, and I have a conference to fund that so I can pay to fly them down and put them up and hang out. But so the conference kind of is almost a necessary evil. I mean, people enjoy it, and I try to make it, pleasurable and entertaining and educational. But, it serves a purpose to, bring people to town as well as, tourists to town for the town, because this is a tourist town. I need to give a quick shout out to a special friend, my own personal fairy, Tinkerbell. That's all I needed to say. But anyway, what else would you guys like to talk about? How close are we to that commercial break?
Hi, Tinkerbell.
Wait for Tinkerbell.
Hi, Tinkerbell. Of course, I love talking about fairies, but okay. We can go to commercial break now. We can head on into break.
Oh, I didn't know. You didn't give me the how big your fish you caught was. Yeah. Were you you'd have to ice fish up there right now, wouldn't you?
Yes, ice fishing.
How do you guys live with negative temperature and wind chill? What is the wind chill?
I think it was 30 below today.
Yeah.
That is inhuman.
Sometimes on the news they'll say like slap your face cold. It's so funny because they've got all these little
it hadn't chipped off.
Huh?
To make sure it hasn't chipped off in the
Well, here's the key. We have plugins. We plug in our car to warm the block engine up. So it keeps our car warm on the inside of the engine.
Layers, right? Layers.
What? And then we dress in layers. And we run out, we start the car and run back into the house and wait like half an hour. And then you go.
I don't know how you do it. We had back in, this past February, we had the freeze where the only time I can remember, that we had negative temperatures here. And, it caused havoc in people's electricity and people's water because, we just aren't prepared for that down here. And schools and businesses were closed for like a week. I'm talking like Whataburger. Well, you guys don't know Whataburger.
Oh, yes, we do. I do. Ooh, I love that place. Ooh,
yes.
ooh.
Jen, do you know Whataburger?
I've heard of it. I'm wondering, did we go to break? I think we did.
Oh, are we on break?
I don't know.
Oh, I talked through it, didn't I?
That's okay. We just need to. But in the chat room, they're talking about cold, so then I don't know if we're on break or not. Oh, we have a hot mic. All right. Well, let's go to break, and we'll be right back with Craig Woolheater. Stay tuned, everybody.
Can we talk?
Yeah, we can talk for a little bit.
Oh, so it's like 2 minutes now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Oh, I like that lamp. Yellow on the inside, black on the out. I love it.
Look at it.
Oh, I like that.
Love it, love it.
Like you can't look down because my place is so messy. But it's got like exposed brick and chip plaster.
That looks sweet. I like that.
And it's actually got, I still got boxes out. Do you see my big Bigfoot in the window?
Yes. Yes. I love it. Very cool. I'm excited for your new place. It looks nice. I saw the pictures on Facebook.
Well, like I said, I have a guest room.
Okay.
Come on down.
Jenna be like, hey, let's go. Let's get out of here. It's too cold.
I feel like I should be going down to Texas very soon.
It was yesterday it was 71.
Oh, don't say
That's
that.
like swimming weather.
That's like bikini weather, isn't it?
That is for us, yes. That is like in the bathing suit, in the pool, lay in the sun. 60 degrees down in Texas.
With a drink with an umbrella in it and
Sure.
a boy,
Sure.
some guy, pool boy fanning you with a palm fronds.
Don't forget the grapes.
And the grapes.
I'm wrong. I'm just along for the ride, so I'll take it all.
30 seconds. Thank you, Sarge.
Okay, I think I've got too much background showing, which is messy.
No, you don't. You're okay.
Okay. My arms aren't long enough how far it really needs to be out.
It's okay. All right, let's be quiet.
Nice glasses.
Who?
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Hey, this is the Journey Radio Show, and we are the She-Squatchers. Why don't you check us out online at she-squatchers.com. Right there at the top of the page, you can click on our events to see where we're going to be. Coming up this spring, we're going to be in Washington State, then North Carolina, and then Washington State again. 3 months in a row, we'll be out. So come check us out if you're close by. And Craig was just telling us that we're probably going to be going to Texas in September. So that's going to be a must do. Come check us out and see us there. And we'll do a paranormal investigation with a whole bunch of people there. That'll be sweet and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a new night vision camera that I'm aching to try out. So I'm excited for that. It's too cold here. It's like 30 below. It'd probably break my camera if I tried to use it outside right now. But yeah, so we've got Craig Woolheater here with us tonight. He's here telling us about all the Bigfoot events going on in Texas and anything else.
I'm just thinking about that 30 below. Huh.
You know, the thing about living up in Minnesota and North Dakota is that our construction is everything is extremely well built. We almost never have power outages because of weather, because it's just built for the extremes, and our Our houses are insulated and they're airtight. So everything is really fuel efficient. Whether it's super hot or super cold, we're prepared.
It gets super hot there?
It does. In the summertime, hot and humid. For us, 96 degrees is insane because the air is wet.
Do you have air conditioning?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and see, in our area, each season is to the fullest. So when it's cold, it's really friggin' cold, and when it's hot, it is ridiculous, and when it's in the fall, it's the beauty that you'll never see ever again. I mean, in the spring, it's just, it's a beautiful place if you enjoy the extremes.
I just think back to watching the Coen Brothers film Fargo, and just everything was white.
Yeah.
That was actually made in Minnesota.
Except for the wood chipper scene.
In Fargo here, because I live in Moorhead, which is the sister city to Fargo, and Jenna lives over in Fargo, but we're literally only like 15 minutes away and from each other. But at the Fargo Visitor Center, they actually have a wood chipper outside that you can take pictures with.
All right.
They do.
Just the leg and the foot sticking out the top of it?
No, but you could probably put yourself in there and take a selfie that way.
Oh, getting off on a tangent, which I tend to do. I'm trying to think, was it here in the Dallas area? But there was a guy, a drug dealer, that actually fed his girlfriend or had her fed into a wood chipper to dispose of her. And I'm just thinking, what if you had a choice? Okay, I'm going to ask both of you girls. If you had a choice, would you rather be fed into a wood chipper head first or feet first?
Definitely head first.
Yeah.
It's going to be over a lot sooner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's a really morbid question, but wow, we answered it quickly, didn't we?
We did.
But, if you imagine being fed in feet first, how far do you have to get up before
You'd pass out. You'd pass out.
You would hope to pass out or leave your body and just watch it happen, which I think does happen sometimes when people die horribly. I think their spirit leaves the body and they just watch it happen.
Okay. Well, we answered that morbid question. Back to more cheerful things.
Yes. Well, that was more on a paranormal aspect of what I think might happen when people die a really horrible death.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I do think that we protect ourselves that way a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, no wood chippers down in Texas, though, I guess.
There are. When people get their tree limbs cut off and they, I just spilled. But I'm back.
Okay.
Good. So what else are we going to talk about?
Do you have any good Bigfoot stories for us? Or a ghost story, whatever you want.
There is one in particular that happened here in 1965 that there was a young boy named Johnny Maples, 13 years old, who was walking home from his friend's house just north of town on a very, very rural road with a creek. Scotts Creek crosses it in several places. And as he was walking, he heard a disturbance down below the bridge in the creek. And much to his surprise, a large, hairy creature came ambling up out of the creek bed up onto the road where he was, and he took off running. And supposedly, according to the newspaper article, he ran so fast. He actually took his shoes off, claiming that he could run faster. I don't know what kind of shoes he was wearing, but and this was picked up by the local newspaper, and the story was then picked up by the United Press Syndicate and was published all over the world, and it brought a lot of armed monster hunters to town that the sheriff was not too happy about. I personally interviewed the owner at the time of the Jefferson newspaper, the editor and publisher. We interviewed him back in 2004, I think. He has since passed, but he told us all about it. That he um, investigated. He found some strange tracks under the bridge in the creek. But he spent about 6 weeks looking into that story, and like I said, it got spread across the world. But there have been, numerous, encounter sightings within a 20-mile radius of my apartment here with people that have had strange things happen. One was a young boy that was at his grandparents' property, and he heard something barreling through the woods. And he was on the it's really gravel roadway into their property, and this thing just popped up out of the woods on all fours. And as it got to the edge of the trees there was a fence there, and it stood up, actually putting one of its hands on the top of the fence post and stood straight up. And and he was just a kid, and scared the heck out of him. His family had other they found tracks around their stock pond. I don't know if you guys know what a stock pond is there, or tank. Here they're called stock tanks, where it's just a little pond where the cattle would come in and drink water. But they found some tracks actually around the edge of the stock tank, and tracks into the water in the mud there, and heard strange vocalizations. A lot of hunters here in this area, out in the woods, have encountered something that they weren't expecting. A tall, upright, hairy creature. Um, a lot of road crossings. Two different women I spoke to on two different roads. Um, One of them was with their child, and drove by and saw what looked like a bunch of like black trash bags, like full of grass or leaves, down kind of in the ditch, and noticed it, because I hadn't seen it before. And then, thinking about it, turned around and came back, and it was gone. There was nothing there. Another woman, also with their child, saw something off to the right of the road, and um, as she passed it at night, looked in her rearview mirror and saw something stand up and walk across the road in very few steps behind her in her rearview mirror. Just lots of stories like that. Hoping once I get my, my Bigfoot museum, and I will, probably put up a large area map with pinpoints where sightings and stuff have happened. Hope to collect a lot more. Being here, having the museum, but that's one of the things I hope to do, is collect more reports and talk to people.
There is a question in the chat room. Sherry is wondering, have you ever seen Bigfoot avoiding trail cams and surveillance cameras?
No, I have not. I mean, there's a misperception about, trail cameras, that, if they're infrared triggered, they're not just sitting there shooting a red beam of light like a laser out constantly. It's the motion that triggers it to take the picture. I mean, they're not there um, standing by with a visible beam of light or anything. And the thing you have to think of is that, my personal opinion, there probably aren't that many of these. I'm of the belief that, along with some of the people that, were pioneers in the field, believed that there were maybe 2,000 to 6,000 of them, in North America. There'd have to be enough to have a breeding population. So, they're, you know, or else, some people think there's one Bigfoot walking around, like Patty's out there walking around and being seen everywhere. But, there'd have to be a breeding population to, for them to still be out there. And, and I've talked to, probably 300 people over the years who claim they've, had a sighting, had an encounter. And, in my belief, there's only a couple of possibilities. Either they're, making up a story, lying, maybe they were hoaxed by someone that they didn't know about. They could be under the influence of, alcohol or drugs. They could be mistaking known wildlife or a person even. Or the only other possibility to me is that, they say they saw what they say they saw. And even if one of those people is telling the truth, then there's something out there. And like I said, even if I discount all of the people I've talked to, I still have my own experience that I can't explain away. It was pitch black out there. There was no traffic. There was no street lights. There was no nothing out there. It was just a wilderness area, like a swampy area on the left, and a tree line about 30 feet out from the road on the right-hand side. And this thing was walking 1/2 to 2/3 of the way out from the edge of the road. So, I mean, it was within 20 feet of the vehicle. So, and we both saw it and acknowledged that we saw it. So, I mean, I just don't think that it was, anybody hoaxing. The deal with hoaxers is there's got to be a payoff for them. They hoax in places where it's going to be seen. There's no reason for somebody to be walking around in a suit out there that looks 7 foot tall on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, because I don't see how they could have even seen, to not stumble over, rocks and holes in the ground and anything like that. This thing was just walking parallel to the road with its head, kind of hunched over a little bit. As a matter of fact, I should have sent you this picture. I saw a witness sketch of one that from the side looked exactly like what we saw. I mean, as quick as it was, that it was, it looked exactly. I mean, it was just large hair covered. It looked grayish in my headlights, and, a little slumped over, and, swinging its arms and walking. I mean, it totally changed, my thoughts on these creatures, because, most people are, I believe it when I see it type of people. And, seeing one will definitely change your perception of reality.
It does. Sherry is also wondering, do you have any opinions on Bigfoot using rivers to travel?
Well, you just reminded me of Sherry. So going back to her original question about avoiding trail cameras, the thing you have to realize is that there are millions and millions and millions of acres of woodlands here in America. And I dare say that the percentage of trail cameras out there is a fraction, infinitesimal fraction of 1% coverage by trail cameras. And the odds of, a Bigfoot walking in front of a trail cam, when it may cover its territory, maybe, thousands of acres. And, and that thousands of acres, maybe there's 2 or 3 trail cameras. I mean, the odds just aren't great. I mean, I liken it to, not looking for a needle in a haystack, but looking for a moving needle in a whole field of hay. I just don't think that, there's other animals. You can see trail camera photos of deer that, walk in front of it and then turn their head and look at the camera. I mean, they make high pitched sounds, and I don't think it's seeing it, but if Bigfoot is as intelligent as it probably has to be, wouldn't you notice? Well, then I'm gonna go back into avoiding. I can't swear whether they avoid it or not, but if somebody were to break into your house and put a box on your wall or on your kitchen cabinet and you didn't put it there, you'd probably notice that it was out of place. But I firmly believe they use rivers, streams, creeks, whatever as travel ways. I mean, most of the reports in Texas are in the eastern third of the state, which, again, as John Green theorized, actually not theorized, but he, using all the reports that he accumulated and looking at weather patterns and such, the vast majority of the reports were in areas where the average annual rainfall was over 20 inches a year. And here in East Texas, it's approaching 50, 60 inches a year. So, I mean, like any animal, and I'm not going to get into an argument about, are they a form of human? Are they animal? I'm just, we're all animals. We're all primates. We're all apes. But you need three things. You need cover, shelter, you need water, and you need a food source. And all of those things are around the waterways, lakes, rivers. You have the woods around there. You have the animal life, fish. You have plenty of water. So, I mean, they're going to be drawn to those areas just like, any of the other native animals, deer, coyotes, whatever. They're going to, accumulate, if you want to. Well, that's not really a good word, but they're going to be seen in those areas. That's probably where they're going to congregate and make, have their families or whatever. Again, they have to have families if they're repopulating and still being seen.
That's for sure. I agree with that 100%.
See, if there's not another question in the chat room, I do have a question.
Go for it.
Okay, Craig, what do you think about people that are talking about Bigfoot in almost like a spider position where it's down? Have you heard anything like Bigfoot walking in a spider crawl?
I've seen an illustration that to me looked pretty ridiculous. It was like it was walking on its actual fingers and toes. I've never seen that, nor have I gotten a report of anybody seeing that. There, like I was talking about that other one, there are reports of them, moving on all fours. And, that kid said that it put its hand on a fence post and stood up. Now, I don't know if it needed that or if it's just like, an old man grunting when he stands up, gets out of a chair. You might need a little help. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I need
or
help.
old woman.
I need help.
You guys make those sounds as well?
Even getting out of the car, it's like, oh, it's like, what's going on? Did I do that?
Because it's cold up here.
It is.
Well, yeah, I'm sure your joints freeze.
Everything freezes here.
And yet you stay there.
I'm stuck here.
I am too.
This is where I live. I'm stuck here.
What's holding you there?
Probably my work. Yeah. If I didn't have to work, I could go anywhere.
Couldn't you do your work from Texas?
Well, I'd need new clients.
Well, did you start out once?
I did, but I was a much younger woman then.
You were still young and had hope?
Well, for me, then you just worked whenever there was work and you worked hard all the time. And now I get to be picky.
I can't imagine you gals are old yet.
Oh, you're so sweet. Say it again.
Don't look old.
Oh, you're sweet.
Thank you.
Literally, say it again.
You-
No, I'm kidding.
For that one.
Oh,
You look very youthful
well, thank you. That's
with
awesome.
good hair, as
That's
Jen flips her hair back.
out of my face. Yes,
She's very good at that.
That's a lot of hair to flip.
it is.
It is. She has gorgeous hair. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so healthy. I'm a bit of jealous.
Well, there's a secret to that. Is just wash and condition, and then
I bet it's a
leave
lot
it
of work.
alone.
Is
And
it
then
a-
leave it alone. I don't do
Mine-
anything to it.
I can't do that, unfortunately. So you're very lucky you can do that.
You don't have to brush it out like 1,000 brush strokes before bed or anything.
Although it's nice when somebody else will brush my hair. I ask Jenna to do it sometimes because it just is nice.
I'll see if I can line up a hair handler for you when you're down here in Texas.
A hair handler.
What does that
not
mean?
Even,
I want one.
well, somebody to y'all can share.
Okay.
Oh, shampoos and scalp massages and hair
Mani
brushes.
petties, maybe in there.
And what?
Mani petties in there.
Oh, now you're getting a little
Yeah, she's a little extra.
like Aerosmith now. Or
Of course,
something.
I'm extra.
Do you
What?
want green M&Ms either?
Oh no, that's funny that you said that though. You must have seen the same show as I did. Sorry, I won't talk about it.
It's all right.
What show?
There was a show on bands and their special requests, and they, just to see if they could do it, they asked like if they were famous enough. They said
Was
no.
it Van Halen that didn't want any brown or green M&Ms?
I think it was green. Yeah, I think that was them.
Okay,
But it was just ironic. Sorry, I haven't brought it up.
it's okay.
I'm not
You
picky.
said beans, or I mean, you said M&Ms.
Chocolate is
Would
the
you rather
magic
have jelly
word.
than M&Ms?
Chocolate is the magic
Oh,
word.
chocolates, Dove chocolates.
Oh yes.
Any-
With somebody to
chocolate.
peel the foil off for you.
I like peeling my own foil. I'm a
do
little
you?
bit of a germaphobe.
She's a lot of a germaphobe.
What?
Jenna uses gloves in the kitchen when she's cooking her own food.
You know what though? That's because
I don't like
people
the smell
under
of food.
fingernails.
Hands myself.
You what?
I don't like the smell of food on my hands.
Oh really? Well, onions and different things like that.
No, I'm
That's
talking like pizza or whatever.
Oh really? Do you wear gloves when you eat?
No, but sometimes a lot of times I'll eat it with a fork,
Oh,
so I
I
don't
like
have to touch it.
There you go. There you go.
Idiosyncrasies. We all have them. We all love them.
And we're all made fun of for having them.
People laugh with us, not at us. That's what I
Oh,
say.
well, that's true.
I don't know, Jenna. We laugh a lot.
We do laugh a lot,
Who are you
especially when we're.
there, Jen?
What?
Who were you laughing with right there?
I was laughing with myself. I was thinking back of all the funny things that happened. They're just too many to count.
Mhm. Every event, it's so fun. It really is, and it just, that's why I'm so excited to get down to Texas, because of everything you have planned, and us three are going to be having so much fun down there. So thank you so much.
And I've already got a room reserved for you with 3 queen beds.
Jenna, we don't have to share a bed?
That's
3
great.
queen size beds.
Wow.
First time in I don't know how long I'll get my own bed.
Right?
Well,
Jen and I always have to share.
Tammy doesn't share.
No, she doesn't. But that's okay. Jen and I have been sharing a bed since we first started traveling for
Wow.
other events. So
Yeah. It's all right. We don't mind.
no, we're like
We'll have to-
sisters. So
Surveillance camera for the pillow fights.
you'll be.
We might
really,
have to have a public pillow fight just for Craig. Let's schedule it at like 11.
Okay. I don't know, but okay, I'm in.
Everybody
Whatever
bring a
you
pillow.
schedule.
We're gonna have a pillow fight and see if it.
I'll have to round up some feather pillows
There you
because
go.
you have to have feather pillows for pillow fights.
That's right. All right, everybody. Well, that's the cue that we're at the end of the show, and we want to thank Craig for joining
Already?
us tonight. I know, right? Thank Craig for joining us tonight. Hope you'll come back another time and share with us some more. Thanks for tuning in, and please come subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us win the subscribers race. Woo! She-Squatchers
racing
official.
Thanks, Craig. Bye, everybody.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Yes.